Okay, buddies. Now is the time.
Now is the best time.
The top three today is amazing, but we have to explain the whole thing. There was some news last week that actually not last week was Monday.
Yeah, it was last
Last
it was
week.
recently. Yeah, this week it feels like a 2-week period.
Yeah,
of time.
yeah. But it was that Disney filed permits to make some changes on the Floridian. I think it's Floridian Way, the name of the.
Mm-hmm.
So it is basically, that Floridian Way is that road that goes by the side of the parking lot and next to the Polynesian Resort and then Grand Floridian. And the whole idea is that they do want to make a change in an area that is pretty close to the Magic Kingdom and actually pretty close to the expansion pad to the Adventureland. Okay. Not only that, they're showing that you can see that they're adding some a twist and a turn on the
circles, traffic circles,
double roundabout.
They have important change they are doing in that road that lead us to start to think on which are the things that they could bring there. It would take 5 minutes for me to read that, but it's top three. Top three resort additions we'd love to see between Grand Floridian and Magic Kingdom.
It's a big piece of land there.
Yes, no, I will show it.
Sizable piece of land.
I love this picture here.
Look
here.
Look at all those.
It's engineering.
But
here.
Disney, if you're listening, like this is all free. These ideas are so good, we just want to see it happen.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with the whole process, and we're no. Colin, your number 3.
So bear with me, the folks that have visited their Hilton Head Island resort. So this is a resort I would like to call Low Country Landing. So this one would be Low Country Landing, which is my idea here is that they take influence from what they have at their Hilton Head Island resort and they transplant a portion of it to the Seven Seas Lagoon area in that tree-swept area. They already have a golf course there. It would be reminiscent of what you would find in Low Country, South Carolina. And it would be neat to see this kind of perched off the side of the Seven Seas Lagoon in a more quaint type resort. Something that's not going to be gigantic. It's going to be kind of tucked away, but maybe you put homes around it or things that people can rent that are different than a typical resort style experience. Of course, we have French Quarter and Riverside that have a similar feel to them. But you could really cater this to a golf-style resort because the course is right there, and it would feel very much like something that someone would experience in South Carolina or surrounding areas, northern Georgia, places like that. And I think it would fit the area and the clientele quite well because you have one golf resort on property, and it's actually exclusive to military at Shades of Green. So it would be a way to bring exposure to that area. It sits right on the golf course because that's where that new road's going to go. I think it would be a good opportunity.
Jason, so let's go.
Yes.
Let's go
to
the number 3.
This is probably the least likely one to ever happen, but saying that, I've been wrong so many times that maybe it's the most likely thing to happen. But this is what I like to call Thunder Mesa.
Look, Megan got it right.
Oh, see? Thunder Mesa. And so what I envisioned here is the original thought was inspired by that last scene you see at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disneyland, and the idea would be
it's
that
not
this
a
would
presentation.
So imagine, there's 2 elements here. This is an immersive experience. So this is a special experience, kind of like the Star Cruiser kind of thing. This is where you get to live kind of in a frontierland style environment, but also kind of within the story of Thunder Mountain and Thunder Mesa, and you have some riverboat action. You have the characters walking around who are the cowboys and so forth, but also most importantly, perhaps, is the Ravenswood experience, where, and this is kind of straight out of the Thunder Mesa area from Disneyland Paris, where you can spend time, maybe even a night, in a haunted mansion, in the Phantom Manor type of situation. But maybe it's not exactly like the Disneyland Paris situation. But also, I thought it'd be fun not just to have the character interactions, but to be able to, like, this is kind of to Colin's point. And you can go to the next picture now. To be able to have different lodging choices, so you can stay kind of above the saloon, you can stay in the Ravenswood Manor, you can stay maybe in a log cabin type of, have that kind of experience. Okay, we can keep going. It's all good. There's kind of another sketch that's out there for Thunder Mesa. You can keep going. Yeah, can you imagine being able to like spend the night in a place like that, where there's like a saloon downstairs, and you go up and they're like upstairs you have your bedrooms. The little kid in me was just in glory. And then of course, because it's Thunder Mesa, and you'll see this in Frontierland, right where the walkway wraps around from Frontierland towards Adventureland,
yeah.
The architecture changes, right? So you have this if you want to stay
Santa
in an area
Fe
that's
style.
more frontier style or Santa Fe style, you can kind of pick between those things. And this is all on this campus that would be known as Thunder Mesa. And the way that, and I don't know if I don't think I have a picture for this. Do we have the best part of this in my mind is that the way you get from this area into Frontierland, because you'd have a special entrance, like in Disneyland, in Disney California Adventure, how you have a special entrance into that park from Grand Californian. The way you get there is via a mine train. So we get the mine train experience that we were supposed to have, or
Get in the bucket. We're taking you to your hotel.
or possibly a train from Thunder Mesa into Frontierland, and then and I'm going to say the words, but it's kind of like the Harry Potter thing where you can get in the train, and then you have that experience on the train. You can see outside like what's happening, and cowboys on horses going after the bad guys. Maybe Zorro makes an appearance. Maybe the Lone Ranger and Tonto.
My gosh. My number 3. It is actually I started. I got the whole thing wrong, and as usual, and then I started thinking about the expansion and attractions. Oh no, it's not like that. It's a resort. So that moved, but then I started to think about a quaint resort, something like what Colin said, but.
Don't take my answer.
No, but it's actually tailored to the adult audience. No, it's not. It's something like thinking about wine and thinking about food and gastronomy, and I'm thinking about a Napa Valley resort farm. A Napa Valley resort farm in that area, a place where you have farm to table gastronomy and food, and you have they plant the seasonings and the herbs and you have special Epicurean and gastronomic classes, and doesn't need to be a full resort, but it could be actually a place you can spend the day with learning techniques with food techniques or wine. It's something
I love it.
It's something like quaint, quiet. It's very, very special. Okay, that you could do close to Magic Kingdom is amazing. You don't need that interaction with the park. It's not that case.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, but it's in that area there, close to the golf courses that. You have further down and close to the Grand Floridian.
Okay,
Colin.
so my second one, Carlos, I'll make this a little easier for you. It's that picture of the lobby and the older looking building.
Let me go.
Okay, yeah. So this was supposed to be High Hampton, and High Hampton, for those of you who have never heard of this, and most of you probably haven't. It is a resort that exists in the Appalachian Mountains, the Great Smoky Mountain area, on the North Carolina side. And it just recently reopened as a luxury hotel, kind of a boutique hotel, but it's very woodsy in nature. And as you all know, I love a good woodsy hotel, hence Wilderness Lodge and Boulder Ridge. And Carlos, do you have the other picture as well?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and flip over to that one for me. Yeah. So
that's
the
woodsy.
inside of it is a very old school,
beautiful,
classic, not really. I'm looking for the wrong word, but nonetheless, it is very similar to what you'd find at like a Boulder Ridge or something like that. But it is very more outdoorsy oriented, and everything once you get there is pretty much all inclusive. They have exclusive restaurants. They have kayaks that you can rent and take out on the water. There's little areas that are tucked away with hammocks. It's just truly a simple getaway experience, and I think that's something that a lot of people are craving. As I read recently online, years ago when the internet came out for the first time, people wanted to go to the internet to escape reality, and now we go to reality to escape the internet. I think this would be one of the perfect places to do so. You could step away, it'd be a smaller resort. You could just do so many different things with that space because it is very much a wooded area at the moment to an extent. And you could tuck it away and it would be kind of a hidden gem.
Jason, let's go to your second one.
It's called Torquay. And Carlos has these like, what is Torquay? Torquay, and it doesn't have to be called this. I just picked the name of a beach resort area in the United Kingdom that was popular and remains popular, but during the Victorian era was this, was one of many beach areas like Blackpool and others where the people would leave the cities and they'd go out to the beach resort areas, and they would have their holidays at the beach. They'd kind of escape the city just like we do now, but it was Victorian. So imagine, we can go to the next slide. I'm just going to show you these different pictures. Series like, that's Torquay. That's actually Torquay, which is kind of known as
an odd place for a Ferris wheel.
The Riviera of
England,
the UK, and keep going. Look at some of these moments. Like that's Blackpool. So imagine this is kind of the Victorian era. You can go back. Imagine like having these little like trolley cars. The beach, of course, Seven Seas Lagoon, but the housing and the tower, the Blackpool Tower. Now we can keep going. The little huts, the little beach huts that people could, of course, rent. Instead of having cabana, you have little beach huts, and these are very popular at beach locations all throughout the UK. And we can keep going. I don't know if I have any others. There's also winter gardens in Blackpool. Sound familiar? But can you imagine this architectural style and fitting in with the architectural style of the Grand Floridian? And the idea here would be, because this is where the Victorian era, folks in the United Kingdom went to holiday. This would be a journey. You would go from the Grand Floridian to this location. It's kind of like a special holiday location. The idea of having something a little more whimsical, but still also elegant and also tied to the time period would be pretty cool. And the idea of having that Blackpool Tower, I think, would also be really, really, in terms of the skyline there, looking across Seven Seas Lagoon, be just kind of really, really cool.
My second one is not the same area, but it gets the same idea of going to a oceanside place with its romantic, with its full of style. But I'm not talking about UK. I'm talking about Italy, and it is actually something inspired on Capri and the Capri and or even the Amalfi Coast. So where you have mountains and all those little a bunch of buildings tied together and placed together, but with different colors.
The Luca tie-in.
Yes, and then I was thinking about the whole thing with Luca, and, but remember, that is the part of Italy that brings you the most iconic songs. So it is Napoli, Capri, and Amalfi Coast that you have those kind of melodic and melancholic Italian traditional songs. Not the tarantella, which is fast and upbeat. It is quiet, like Santa Lucia and things like that. It's amazing.
I love it.
In the Seven Seas Lagoon, with nice Italian restaurants. We do have really good Italian restaurants in Walt Disney World right now, but bring me more. Colin, let's go to your number one.
This is one that I've actually thought about for years. I think Disney would have a huge opportunity with, and they're actually starting to expand. So it is actually feasibly possible if Disney wanted to do it. But it's what I would call Treehouse Village, or the Hideaway in the Trees. But I'll get to that part here in just a second. But these are actually large-scale homes, small-scale homes, I should say, that are built into the trees. And you would quite literally be surrounded by nature. And they are supported, so the wind and stuff like that in Florida wouldn't be that big of an issue. And Disney has done similar versions of this in the past with the Saratoga Springs Resort. They do have the Treehouse Village over there. But this takes it to a different level. And my thought process was to tie this into the tropical hideaway that we know as the Tiki Room. So you could pull design characteristics from that. You could have maybe an elaborate way to get into the parks from the Adventureland side that dumps you out into back to where your resort is, and you could have not only a Trader Sam's or something like that off the beaten path, similar restaurant feel. It would kind of tie with the Poly a little bit, but at the same time you could be up in the trees. And could you imagine what that view looks like over the Seven Seas Lagoon at night from your own cabin that's up in the trees as a treehouse? All the luxuries of what you have at home, but just up in the trees. And I got this idea largely from if you guys have seen I believe it's on Animal Planet now, but it used to be on True TV, I think, Treehouse Masters. So these do actually exist. The one you see does actually exist. And I believe it's in Oregon, if I remember correctly. But there's some in Oregon, Texas, and Tennessee at the moment. But it is a very real concept. They build these all across the country. They build them in people's backyards, and they are very nice inside.
I love that show.
You know what? I would like to see them.
It's
I love this, but I would love to see them just create Endor right outside of Hollywood Studios.
That would be cool.
Can you imagine?
Similar concept.
That will lead, and I have to tell one thing. For the first time, we have the combination.
The first time in forever.
The combination of the number one for Jason, and he will elaborate long time with that, and I would just compliment with a single picture. But his
just one.
His first one is actually totally related to my first one. Actually, he used the same photo that we used.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, the whole idea, the compliment, it is amazing. So, Jason, let's go
on a journey.
Let's go to your, should I say, our number one?
Our number one. Our accidentally joint number one.
Yes.
Let me start by saying, Mr. Disney, please do this. Please do this. We are going to build the Adventurers Society. And if you remember the moments from the Jungle Cruise movie, the early moments of the Royal Society, where that those moments were happening where they're trying to get a certain thing. I'm not going to spoil anything, but again, we're talking about this sort of turn of the century, late 19th century time period, a Royal Society, or maybe a society of explorers and adventurers, possibly. The inside, of course, regal looking, very rich.
Bring it back, please.
But you progress. There's areas, of course, that are sort of majestic. There's characters, of course, Society of Explorers and Adventurers characters that are walking around and interacting with guests who are staying there and visiting. Very reminiscent of what we experienced at the Adventurers Club, but also from a styling standpoint, we also continue our journey into the area that is the Adventurers Club element of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Remember, that is a separate kind of like spin-off. The Adventurers Club is a spin-off of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, so politics involved, and so. But I won't bore you with that. This picture you see here, this I believe is a restaurant entrance in Mystic Point in Hong Kong.
This looks familiar.
This already exists, people. Let's go inside. Can we go inside? Actually, I think the next picture might be so this is an old shot of the Adventurers Club, right? So you can imagine the sort of feeling you could have in certain areas of the resort. Here's the entrance, back to the entrance of this is called the Explorers Club. It already exists. Disney has already done this. Disney's already done this. They have different rooms dedicated to different places in the world, like the Morocco and Egypt room. There's the Russian room. there's a room. I forget what room this is. We can keep going. There's another one here. There's the China room. There's the China room, and you get to kind of pick. So again, this is there's the Russian room. This is sort of like Beauty and the Beast, the Beast Palace kind of thing, where you can go in and dine in different rooms.
Do you get banished if you order the wrong food in the wrong room?
I hope not. So this, of course, would be one of the restaurant areas, and then here's the best part: the exclusive entrance to the Magic Kingdom is via a jungle cruise type of experience to get into through the canals to get into, of course, Adventureland, the Adventureland entrance of the Magic Kingdom that would be built as part of this. And I think I even have the next one. This is a image from, I believe, Tokyo Disney Sea, Jungle Cruise. Wait, look, it's so cool looking. And then the next shot, I think, is
the last one.
The last one, which is going to dovetail into Carlos's, is a shot of this. By the way, this is not CGI. This is a shot of the town, in the Jungle Cruise movie. This set was actually built. This set was actually built in Hawaii. I think in Kauai actually. And then was torn down after the filming.
See, that's a lot for one movie.
Yeah, they built this set and then they tore it down because I think it's actually was on location at like a reservoir.
Just squeezing in my number one, which was a Jungle Cruise Resort, and then I used the same picture.
I love it.
And I love it. And then, can you imagine that? Because if you start to connect it to Jungle Cruise, or in that resort, you can have the opportunity to, for instance, to have a breakfast in an area that you can actually see the Jungle Cruise. You have to, okay, or you can have a watchtower that you can see Adventure.
Well, you go to Trader Sam's for breakfast.
Yes.
Can you imagine like? So because in my version of this, and I think which dovetails with yours, is that we start, of course, you actually start your journey at the Grand Floridian in some ways, right, from a storyline standpoint. Yeah. And then the next thing over is the Royal Society.
Yes.
The Royal Society area, which we don't call the Royal Society, we'll call it the Adventure Society or something. But then, as you progress through that, you go to now it starts to get a little edgy. We're now the Adventures Club. It's a kind of a special, offshoot, and now but we're doing this secret thing in the jungles of South America, and
we're going to the adventure, and that's the whole thing, and you get into. But then I have my honorable mention.
Okay.
And buddies, and I'll ask you your forgiveness because I will move away from that area, because there is other expansion pods in Magic Kingdom.
Oh, come on.
And there's a expansion pod right behind.
Are you taking part at Tom Sawyer Island?
No.
Okay, good.
It's behind It's a Small World and Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
And you could do the
You could have a train stop there.
You can do the haunted resorts. So the whole idea is that you remember that Jason, you were talking about going for us visiting us a real round
Ravenswood
resort
experience, the Phantom Manor, the Phantom Manor. Yes.
So the idea is to have that in as a something like the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, immersive experience. And the Haunted Mansion.
God, I love it. Oh, can you imagine if you had an entrance that was like a special doom buggy that took you to, or
carries you away,
a horseless carriage, that took you.
Yep.
To.
Buddies, I love that. And Jason, thank you. It was amazing. It was a little bit different in terms of the usual top threes because we're dealing with something that, well, we already did that before.
Exist.
We already did it before. We remember with the ideas that could be in the same place at Dinoland USA. We did that.
Yeah, and if they want to take us up on those offers now that Dinoland's slowly going away.
But it was great.